Watch this video before starting an Amazon FBA business, because in today's video, we're going to be looking at the 5 secrets of 6-figure Amazon FBA sellers. You may think that I'm going to be talking about process, procedure, metrics, all of the kind of details, but actually that's not what makes a really successful Amazon seller. So if you're interested in this sort of content, make sure you're subscribed with your notifications turned on. Let's get into the video straight away. Welcome if you're new here, welcome back if you're not. My name is Jonny Bradley. I'm founder of the Seller Pro Academy, where we help ordinary people create extraordinary things, just one product at a time. So as I said in this video, we're going to be looking at 5 secrets to 6-figure Amazon FBA sellers. Now, of course, I will be saving one of the most important ones until last. So if you want to know one of the most important secrets, stick around until the end of the video. So let's get started with number 1. So when you're starting on Amazon, one of the big issues is actually the learning curve and actually getting started. There's a significant amount of work that you have to do up front, particularly with learning the process and then doing product research and sourcing and negotiating, all that sort of stuff. You know, before you've ever made any money with your business, you need to have put a lot of time into that actual process. And a lot of people fail and a lot of people struggle because they really struggle with that process and not knowing how much time to spend every day working on their product. And I've helped thousands of people all across the world with Amazon FBA, and one of the big things that I hear from my 10K and 100K club students, those are people that made their first 10,000 or 100,000 pounds selling on Amazon, is that they all have a common theme when it comes to actually how they started and how they operated starting an Amazon FBA business alongside their job or their kids or their other commitments. So you might be watching this video thinking about starting and thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to have enough time, or when am I going to find time to do product research? When am I going to find time to get graphic design work done? And all of that boils down to one thing, and that's procrastination. So when I started my Amazon FBA journey quite a few years ago now, I was doing a day job. I was in recruitment at the time, and I was out the house at 7 a.m. I was back maybe 8, 9 p.m. at night. And I was definitely one of those people that thought, you know, when am I going to find time to do this? So the only option for me, there was no other option, the only option was to carve out about half an hour every single day, either before I normally went to work or when I got back from work. And what I found over the years is that many people that have replicated that process of doing little and often, 30 minutes a day, tend to have far more success, or they get to the point where they're selling a lot quicker than the people that are only able to put in 2 hours every single week. It's much better to do half an hour 5 days a week than 2 hours or 2.5 hours once a week. And this is sort of like if you've ever been skiing or snowboarding, that you go snowblind if you don't have goggles or polarizing lenses. It's because everything just looks white and everything just looks like there's no bumps or anything like that. You can make a mistake, you can fall and die. And the same thing happens when you're doing product research with Amazon. If you spend kind of 2 hours doing product research and just looking through numbers, you're going to go blind to the opportunities that are literally directly in front of you. So if you're at that particular stage, I really recommend that you do little and often. Half an hour a day is going to be much better for you than dedicating 2 hours or 4 hours over the weekend. You'll get far more done during that half an hour than you would do in the 2 hours combined, and you won't go snowblind to these perfectly good opportunities that are directly in front of you. Now, if you want to know more about this, I did a really cool video about procrastination and how I achieve so much in a day. So there's going to be a link on one of these corners which will show you how to do that. Secret number 2. When you're starting an Amazon FBA business, a lot of people approach it as only an Amazon FBA business. But what you have to do is approach it as a business, a real business with actual customers. And a lot of the tutorials online, a lot of the courses that you'll find, they don't teach you actually how to be a really good business owner and really care about your customers. So the second secret is care about your customers. Actually care about what they receive in the post. I've been ingrained with this for a long time. When I worked at Apple, I was there for about 5 years. The whole ethos is about really caring about the customer. And that doesn't just go from a customer service standpoint. It goes from everything they do, to their marketing materials, to the product design, to the box design. And while I was working there, I actually found out that there was a team of people, an unboxing team, and their whole job, literally their whole job, was just to unbox products and give feedback about the unboxing experience. Because Apple know that that first time you open open a box is the first instance that you're going to have your actual hands on the product, and you'll be able to have an impression about how good the product is. Perception is so important with a physical inventory business, and all businesses actually. So when you're coming up with your product ideas, when you're thinking about your branding, or particularly things like your packaging, think about what would it be like to be a customer receiving this product in the post. As someone unboxes it from the brown Amazon packaging, are they going to look at it and be disappointed, or are they going to look at it and go, wow? Because ultimately, the more people that go wow, the more people are going to promote your product to their friends and family. And that's free advertising, and that will grow your business. I was doing an interview with one of my six-figure students just the other day, and we were talking about packaging. They wanted to make their packaging more luxurious, right? They wanted to be thicker cardboard. They then got a quote for that and realized it was only 8 cents more per unit to have the high quality packaging. But what happens is they're able to charge more money for the same product, just with slightly thicker cardboard, and their customers will be happier, which means more business for them and better reviews. So if you really want to be successful selling on Amazon or any business, care about your customers. Really care about their experience. Secret number 3 is to create, don't copy. There are so many copycat sellers on Amazon, it's unbelievable. A lot of the times, beginners particularly, will just copy what someone else has done on Amazon because they think they're going to be able to take a slice of the pie. And although that can work, just taking a slice of the pie and offering your product a little bit cheaper, the longevity on that model is very short. At some point, it's just going to be a price war to the bottom, and it's going to be who can provide the cheaper price, not who can provide the best product with the best value. So what you want to do is, when you're starting to create your bundles and create your product in your brand, is create, right? Don't copy someone else's brand. Don't copy someone else's product. Don't copy someone else's box. Create. And this really comes off the last point, because the more you care about your customers, the more empathetic you can be to their situation and how the product's going to work for them, which means you can create a better solution for them. So if everyone's doing a particular bundle on Amazon with particular packaging, with particular colors, think about what's going to make a difference for them rather than just copy and pasting what someone else has done. And really, over time, it's about you taking more sales from your competitors because they've stayed safe, they've done the same thing that everyone else is doing. You've innovated just a little bit, enough to stand out, and that's when, again, you can really dominate on your sales and on your competitors. Secret number 4 is about images. Images are the reason why anyone buys your product. Now, I've helped a lot of people with their Amazon FBA businesses and their listings. Quite often I get sent listings to evaluate, to feedback on, and to explain to people how they could be better. One of the biggest things I see with people that aren't trained on creating high converting images is their images are appalling, because the standard of images on Amazon is also appalling. And sometimes I feel like I just want to shake people and just say, wake up, wake up. This is why people buy your product, yet you've put no time and effort into your images. Again, this comes down to perception. If your images are perceived as being amateur or sloppy or unprofessional, then you will command a lower price because your pictures aren't up to par. If your images and your branding and everything is really squeaky clean, it looks incredible and it looks professional, then you can charge that higher price. But importantly, you can convert more of your customers. If you can convert 5% more than your competitors, then you will eventually get ranked above them. And importantly, when you're running things like advertising in PPC, you'll be able to convert higher and be more profitable. And with advertising, the person who can spend the most normally wins. The way that you can spend the most is by having the highest conversion rate. The biggest thing I can say about images is about communication and clarity. So there's a story that I use a lot. It comes from a book called Insanely Simple, and it's where Steve Jobs was having a meeting with his ad agency, Chiat Day, I think their name is. And there was a 30-second ad slot for the new Macintosh, and Steve Jobs wanted to have 6 features in that 30 seconds. So go through 6 features of the new Macintosh, here it is, go buy it. Whereas the ad agency said, we only want to talk about one feature because we want to communicate one feature because that's all people can understand. There was a bit of an argument about this, and one of the representatives from the ad agency, Lee Clow, he actually stood up, ripped up 5 pieces of paper from his notepad, and then said to Steve Jobs, catch, threw them at Steve Jobs, which is, an interesting thing to do to your employer. But then Steve didn't catch any, and Lee said, that's a bad ad. He then picked up one of those pieces of paper, threw it at Steve Jobs, and then Steve caught it and then returned the ball, and Lee said, that's a good ad. And the point here is that you need to throw one ball at a time with your images. So if you look at your images or you look at your competitors' images and they have loads of features on one image, you understand that they're trying to throw 6 balls at once. And what you need to do is try and bring that down and only communicate one feature or one benefit at a time, because people will be able to understand it far quicker. And when people are scrolling through Amazon, literally at lightning speed, they need to be able to pick up what it is your product is, what it does, and how it's going to benefit them within lightning fast speeds. And this is where so many people go wrong, because they don't understand how people operate online. The 5th and final secret is don't panic. There are many times where you are going to panic and you're going to think, oh my God, something's going wrong, or how am I going to get over this? This is the whole business over. And trust me, that almost never happens, because there's always a resolution to something going wrong. Always. I'll give you an example of this that happened to me. So I was just working one day and I got a notification from Amazon that all of my products have been marked as faulty. So I can't remember now, but it was a few thousand units that were marked as faulty, which means they were all put in basically a bin that were going to be scrapped. Now this was tens and tens of thousands worth of stock. So obviously at this point, my stress level potentially peaked a little bit. And for a lot of people, what's going to happen is that you're going to get very stressed, you're going to really act emotionally, and you're not going to think logically about how to overcome that issue. Because ultimately, we're at Amazon's mercy sometimes, because they have the platform. We're operating with their rules. But equally, we can follow those rules, and if you follow them, there should be no reason why you have any issues. However, at times like this experience for myself, mistakes can be made by human beings. So all of my units were marked as faulty. The first thing I do is obviously panic a little bit. I call up Amazon and they don't really know what's gone on, so I hang up and I do a little bit more research. After half an hour or so, I kind of calmed down a bit, and then I thought to myself, actually, I have someone that I actually employ to be able to help with this sort of stuff. That I actually have an FBA specialist that worked at Amazon as their job role was FBA specialist for like 5 years. So I thought, wait a minute, why haven't I just asked them? So I asked them, I said, yes, you have to do this particular thing. So I email Amazon and I say, can you, and I've requested exactly what I wanted to request. And within 2 hours, all of my stock was sellable again. And that issue was then all resolved just within a couple of emails. But the problem is, at the beginning, my stress levels went up because I panicked. I was like, oh my God, look at the money that I could potentially lose. Like, what happens if I have to remove all the inventory? What happens if I do this? And it's the what happens if issue that you will come into at some point within your journey. What you need to do at that point, when something bad happens or a process is done wrong or there's a shipping issue and you think, what happens if, what happens if, what happens if, you need to stop that completely and just look at the solution. Here's the problem. How do we have a solution? What resources do you have that are going to help you? What people can you reach out to that are then going to be able to advise you, that have been through it in the past? And this has happened to me many times where I've had my students come to me, stuff goes wrong, of course, and they come to me and they're panicked and they don't know what's going to happen. And I go back with a very calm email just saying, do this, a very simple 1-sentence email, this is what you need to do, and then that is then resolved. So all that stress wasn't worth it. So if you want to be a 5, 6 or 7-figure Amazon seller, you need to learn how to deal with stress prevention. There's always going to be a resolution to any sort of problem. It's just you need to work through it rather than get emotional and panic. But here's the thing, because if you don't have that, I guess, stoic attitude in some sense, that you will get overwhelmed with emotions and you'll get overwhelmed with fear and uncertainty, and that is always going to lead to negative things happening. Negativity breeds negativity. We know this. Positivity breeds positivity. So if something goes wrong, you don't want that to impact you negatively. You want to get to the resolution, overcome it, and then feel positive about the actions that you took. So 3 things if you want to learn more. First, subscribe with their notifications turned on. Get that done right now, because I upload videos all the time about cool FBA tricks and success stories. The second is I'm currently running some free training, which is about 45 minutes long. It's going to teach you the 3 most influential parts of the 1 product strategy that's led to so much success. In that, we talk about product research, we talk about image, and we talk about things like PPC as well. It's really incredible training. So go and watch that, it's completely free. Also, linked down below, there is going to be a link to the Seller Pro Academy where you can apply to join and become a member. There's only a few questions, but once applied, then we can jump on a free strategy call and find out what situation you're in now, where you want to be, and how we can join those dots using our support. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, smash up the like buttons, and remember, you're just 1 product away. Bye-bye.